Let's start with a big announcement that has been made by US President Donald Trump, something that the world was waiting for. Donald Trump has announced a peace deal between US and Iran, but it will be signed in the next 5 days in Switzerland is what we're learning. And once that happens, the Strait of Hormuz will be reopened and the naval blockade will also be lifted. And as expected, oil prices have fallen very sharply. European powers have also welcomed the move. A statement from India is awaited, but despite the positive signals, many questions still remain unanswered. What exactly has Iran agreed to? What happens to the nuclear program? Will the sanctions be lifted? And most importantly, will this agreement deliver lasting peace, or is this only a temporary pause? For now, the world is watching very closely. So that is the latest we're learning so far. Let me get you more details on this and go across to my colleague Mayank on this. Good morning, Mayank. Trump has announced a peace deal between US and Iran. What exactly has been agreed between the two countries at this point in time?
Good morning, Akansha, and good morning, viewers. It's a big day as far as the economies of the world is concerned, because the way the things have been shaping, it might stabilize not only the Middle East, but the global economy in larger ways. Yeah, Akansha, so coming to the details as of now, it will take almost 30 days to implement the memorandum of understanding which is to be signed on Friday. And specifically to begin with, it will be unfettered, all unhindered movement and toll-free movement within the Strait of Hormuz. That will be to begin with. In one of the statements which has come out quoting J.D. Vance is that it can be safely said that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. That is the second point, but that will take some time, because as far as memorandum of understanding, which took almost 14 to 15 hours meeting between Qatari delegation which was in Iran yesterday. It has been finalized, and that is the one which will be signed. According to that, it's almost 30 days after which this deal will be implemented fully. And in that case, we have to also see, because in one of the announcement, what has come out is that it will be cessation of all military operations, including Lebanon. But in this case, we have to further see that what comes out from Israel's side, because Israel was the one which was never ready to stop its operations against Hezbollah, at least in Lebanon. So these are, several stands are there. We need to recollect them once memorandum of understanding details come out, at least on Friday, because that is the day Switzerland has been chosen as the base or the place wherein this memorandum of understanding will be signed between US and Iran. Akansha.
All right. So this is what we know so far, that a peace deal announcement has been made by Donald Trump. The signing will take place in the next 5 days, and after that, the Strait of Hormuz and also the naval blockade that will be lifted from the crucial waterways. Stay on with us. We have another breaking update coming in, because in a major development, Iran has said that it has finalized MOU with the United States to help end the ongoing war. According to Iran, all military operations, including in Lebanon, will be stopped immediately, and the naval blockade on Iran will also be lifted. Tehran has also said that talks on a final peace agreement will begin only after the US fulfills the commitments, including the release of frozen Iranian assets. Iran has also said that its nuclear program is not part of the current deal, and that remains the important point so far. Iran has said that the nuclear program is not part of the current negotiation. Let me go across to Mayank once again on this. Mayank, nuclear program was the key, and that is why the war also started. Time and again, Donald Trump took to social media saying that he does not want Iran to have nuclear weapons. He will go, the country will go inside Iran and will bring out the nuke dust as well. But at this point in time, when the peace deal has been announced by Donald Trump, Iran is saying that nuclear program is not part of the current deal. How crucial is this? Are we getting more details on this?
Akansha, the most important thing as of now has been Strait of Hormuz, and that has been realized by every side actually. And at the level of global economy, we can see that the vibrations of that Middle East, war which is going on, it is felt by everyone across the globe. So it was as of now immediately required. The important point when such kind of high tension negotiations or high stake negotiations take place is identifying the doables. In this case, we believe that, and going by the MOU and the news which is being announced by Iran and US, we can easily understand that Strait of Hormuz is one of the doables, and few things have been left for future, so that technically the broader points and then the smaller points can be thrashed between the two sides. That is very important. So that, to begin with, to shape a positive atmosphere, Strait of Hormuz has been decided to be something which is to be immediately opening, and statements have come out from Iran side also, the sanction or the frozen funds which are there, it is to be released in the beginning, and Lebanon is the other one which can be understood, but then what we see is actually Israel has already launched an operation on Lebanon. So we have to see that how is it going to be, Israel is going to behave post the announcement and post the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding, Akansha.
Absolutely, and the next 5 days are going to be very important because the announcement has been made, but the deal signing will take place on June 19th is what we're learning so far. Also joining me live on the broadcast is Mr. Eric, senior journalist based in USA. Thank you so much, sir, for connecting with us. A big announcement that has come in from Donald Trump. How do you look at it? How significant is this, not just for West Asia, but for the entire world?
Well, I think we're looking at, a very good step in the right direction. Now, a lot can happen between now and Friday when this all gets signed. So I'm not going to, get my hopes up extremely high yet, but I think we are, the framework has been laid. I think everyone is in agreement. The Qatar peace delegation did a phenomenal job. We saw a lot of countries come in and contribute to this at the last second to get this framework done. However, I still have my doubts as to whether Israel and Lebanon can stop their end of things. Israel has been very vocal about their disappointment in not getting all their objectives achieved. So I'm a little hesitant when it comes to the conflict between Israel and Lebanon. Now, I hope that it holds up. I hope that peace does happen. However, the pattern is still there, and we should be acknowledging that there is a pattern that is still there. So as far as the peace agreement goes, it's a great thing. We should be heading in this direction. Hopefully, between the U.S. and Iran, they can continue to move in that direction. I do think that Iran has a lot to gain as this goes on within the 30 days and the 60-day mark of this agreement. So Iran it wouldn't be wise of them to start to violate some of the terms of this agreement.
All right, it remains to be seen how it pans out in the coming days. Next 5 days are going to be very important. And as you also mentioned, it remains to be seen whether Donald Trump will be able to keep Israeli Prime Minister in check as well when it comes to the war. Stay on with us. I'll come back to you once again. We have another breaking update coming in. Iranian state media has said that US will be releasing $12 billion in the frozen Iranian assets before the formal negotiations start. According to the reports, the fund release is part of the 14-point MOU between the two countries and is one of the key conditions for moving forward with the talks on the final agreement. Iranian media has said, and I quote, the US will release $12 billion in frozen assets to Iran before the start of the negotiation. And this is according to the 14-point MOU between the two nations. Let me once again go back to my colleague Mayank on this. Mayank, this was, we're learning as far as Iran is concerned, this was one of their key conditions for moving forward when it comes to the back channels agreement. Their media has been reporting that US will be releasing $12 billion in frozen asset before the start of the negotiations between the two countries. Give us more details on this.
Akansha, doables have been identified, and which means that whatever could be achieved immediately or on the agreements on certain issues can be achieved, done immediately. These are the kind of things which are happening, and as you have already brought out, $12 billion of frozen assets that are to be released, and one Strait of Hormuz, all kind of movement there and toll-free movement. That is what something has come out, and as has been said, that it will take another 60 days to thrash the details of the things. things actually. How the regulation or control of the Strait of Hormuz is going to be implemented on ground, how the things will shape up, how the further assets, because sanctions on Iran had been since quite long. So we might also see that certain conditions on sanctions could also be released or could be eased out. That could also happen. So we have to further wait for the details and see four important, broadly everything can be summarized or surmised into four important issues, which is nuclear issue, which is Strait of Hormuz, which is frozen assets on of the Iranian government, and fourth is Lebanon. So we have to wait and watch what happens of Lebanon, because in one of the statements made by Pakistan, it has come out that all kind of military operations are stopping, and that includes operations in Lebanon. So, but this agreement is between Iran and the US. So we have to still wait and watch how Israel is going to behave in this particular. So these are four broad points, and details are yet to come out. We'll be reporting gradually, Akansha.
Absolutely, and more details are awaited. In fact, in the latest, we're learning that Netanyahu has also sought urgent meeting with Donald Trump after this announcement was made on that. On that, let me bring in Mr. Eric once again. Mr. Eric, in the last few hours, in fact, leading up to the deal announcement by Donald Trump, we saw attacks on Lebanon. Do you believe Donald Trump will be able to keep Netanyahu in check to secure success of a ceasefire deal, the peace deal, in fact, because the next 5 days are going to be very important and the days are going to be very long. It remains to be seen whether Netanyahu will attack Iran once again, and whether Trump will be able to keep him in check to secure the success of this deal.
Well, I certainly hope not. I do believe that a lot rides on whether or not Israel can kind of contain their military forces for a while, and I know that Hezbollah plays a significant part in that as well. So it can't be fully blamed on Israel. It's going to take two to tango in that situation. However, it is very clear that President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu have had their differences in the last couple weeks. President Trump has grown very frustrated with Israel behind the scenes. Out in the forefront, it does seem like they make it look good for the cameras, but there is some issues there. I certainly hope that there is an agreement between the United States and Israel to continue to allow this ceasefire, allow this framework for this deal to get finalized and signed, and we can get some kind of a peaceful normalcy in the Middle East, including in Israel, including in Lebanon. So it's yet to be seen. I hope for the best, and we can conclude this chapter in the Middle East.
Absolutely. At least there will be a respite. We're learning that after 5 days, the Strait of Hormuz will be reopened, and the naval blockade on the Iranian ports, that will be removed as well. Stay on with us. We have another breaking